When Kenner Star Wars figures finally hit store shelves in 1978, nobody could have predicted the impact those little 3 3/4 inch figures would have on the toy industry. Borrowing a little inspiration from Fisher-Price Adventure people, Kenner shrunk down the galaxy far, far away and in the process built an empire of plastic. Suddenly, every kid could hold the Star Wars universe right in their hands.
People are really excited about them, and so are we.
Other toy lines soon followed. G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, even Indiana Jones, all chasing that same magic formula. But by 1985, the Force was starting to fade. The final waves, Power of the Force and the Droids and Ewoks lines, were the last hooray. In 1986, it was all over, and the figures known as the Last 17 became legendary amongst collectors. But what if the line had kept going? That's where the next 17 come in, imagining the toys that could have been, unused concepts, prototype ideas, and what if figures that feel ripped straight from an alternate 1986. In this Ed's Retro Geek Out, we're taking a look at a couple of new releases by the Last 17. Let's get it! Big thanks to the Last 17 team for sending these in. Actually, over the years, I've picked up a couple of these masterpieces, like Efont Mon and that glow-in-the-dark baby Wampa. What's always impressed me is the quality on these. These feel like the real deal Kenner figures, and they sometimes come with card back designs or backgrounds, and they always have that classic Kenner plastic vibe. So, let's see what's up. First up, we have half Vader in a back-to-tank. This is definitely not the Vader figure we expected as a kid, but what a rad idea. The figure actually suspends inside the tank using little hooks, and he comes with a mount mask for that eerie Empire Strikes Back medical chamber look. It's part creepy, part cinematic, and it just works. You can practically hear that mechanical breathing in the background. So yeah, this actually looks like something Kenner could have done. And it's done, I'm saying it's done in a simple way, but it's done in such a efficient way to create the back-to-tank like this, to have him hooked up like that. It is kind of weird looking, but I love it. I really think this is a pretty cool concept. Now, speaking of strange and awesome, Kenner actually was still cooking up new characters near the end, and one of the examples that never got onto store shelves was Gargan, the six-breasted dancer from Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi.
What happened? I don't know. Well, somebody must know something.
Now, this wasn't just a fan rumor. Kenner actually started working on her to get her produced. With Sculpt's notes and prototypes surfacing from around 1985, they had plans to include her in the final Power of the Force wave before the line got canned. Gargan represents how deep Kenner had started digging, going beyond main heroes into pure background territory. People in the background you wouldn't even remember were there. And you can already imagine kids opening their Amadaman, their Yak Face, and their Gargan on Christmas morning. Then again, she's the perfect snapshot of where the line could have gone if it hadn't ended, and the next 17 picks up that same torch, continuing the legacy with new, believable characters that feel straight out of the Kenner vault. And next up, we got two more background characters, and they actually look like kind of the same sculpt, but there's a little bit of differences to these. First up, we have the Imperial Grand Admiral. He comes with a gun, he's looking neat. This could be like that Admiral guy that's leading the forces of the Empire. You could have him in the background of your diorama when you were playing, and it was nice to have like somebody higher up in charge than all those darn stormtroopers, right? And then there's the movie-accurate scanning crew. You'll remember the scanning crew from A New Hope during the Death Star hangar sequence when Han and Luke try to bluff their way through in stolen armor. These guys were always missing from the vintage collection, so having them finally here completes that diorama setup. Both come with screen-accurate gear, scanning boxes, blasters, and everything you'd imagine. And I actually had to go look these up, but this is even further into the background that the guys from the next 17 looked, so you guys know who these characters are making that ice cream. They're not Ben and Jerry. No, it's deep cut time with Willrow Hood, the ice cream maker guy from The Empire Strikes Back, and Cloud City technician Albino. Both come with the Chemtono accessory, the same prop we later learned was a Beskar storage unit in The Mandalorian. These figures perfectly capture that Cloud City evacuation moment. When you hear the alarms and everybody's running around clutching random gear, they're pure background magic, the kind of figures Kenner might have slipped into the late wave of the Bespin releases if the line had ever survived. And then we come to my favorites. This I think is really cool what they've done. The Marvel Yoda figures. These are 2 versions here, and they're absolutely loaded with accessories. You get a Yoda figure, which is 5 points of articulation, like with all of these figures. They come with a soft goods coat, which you have to put on still, but that's fine. There's 2 snakes over here, 1 belt keeping that coat together, and he comes with an awesome cane. And then there's the comic back card, actually explaining you everything where this guy came from. During the production of Marvel Star Wars issues 42 and 43, the movie Empire Strikes Back was still in production. Lucasfilm would rush over the latest shots of models, character sheets, and updates to the script. Marvel's original concept of Yoda was based on one Ralph McQuarrie painting, which was all that was available at the time. Shortly after, Al Williamson and Carlos Garzon turned in the pages involving the Jedi Master. But then set photos of his final look reached the Marvel offices. At this time, the paperback had already gone to press, but Al and Carlos were able to make adjustments in the character for the Super Special and the 50-cent comic version. A few close-up panels were actually completely redrawn, while other panels were simply repainted in the correct colors. So with these designs based on the Marvel Comics' early interpretation of Yoda, back when the artist hadn't actually seen the final puppet from the film, they only had rough descriptions and early production sketches. So Yoda actually came out blue, with a different face shape and overall alien vibe. Marvel later corrected him, but early readers got this strange little turquoise Jedi Master. Now the next 17 nailed that look. A what-if figure straight from the alternate toy history. And yeah, they've also made a Marvel-style Jabba the Hutt to match. What I love about these figures the most is you can just easily drop them into your collection and they look like they just need to be there. They fit so perfectly. And for around $30 to $50, you're getting what feels like a factory-made Kenner figure that never existed. High quality, screen accurate, and full of imagination. And honestly, this is exactly the kind of territory Kenner was heading towards. By the end, they covered every big-name character, so the future of the line was clearly going to be deep dives into background aliens and expanded universe figures. But then again, if they kept going, who knows how many yak face like figures we would have been hunting right now. How much money we would have to spend on all those weird figures nobody wanted back then. They didn't sell, so now they're super expensive. And it's thanks to the next 17 that we actually get to hold a piece of alternate toy history in our hands. Something that could have been if things just played out a little bit differently. And that's going to be it for this episode of Ed's Retro Geek Out. Please let me know in the comments down below which figure you would have loved to have seen made in the old Kenner line. Maybe some of the aliens from the Cantina, or one of the weird droids in the background of Jabba's palace. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to be it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe for more 80s and 90s toy videos to the channel. And yeah, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. And if you'd like to do more to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. I want to thank the next 17 so much for sending this over. You can get yours over at thenext17.com. See which other ones they still have in stock. Not everything's in stock, but oh my god. Look at those Christmas ones. Christmas Yoda? Dude, I'm gonna have to order a couple of these. This is amazing. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an awesome week, and may the plastic be with you. See you soon.